Hello and welcome to World History Honors. My name is Dr. Lisa Manson and I will be your student's teacher this year. I know many of you will be electing not to come in person to meet me, and that's certainly fine. All the information about the course you'll find in here. Anything else you don't know, you can certainly email me. I have spent my entire career at Lindbergh, um, did study at Moscow State University, traveled the world, went to New Zealand recently, and this is where I'd love to call my home. I do have a master's in history, and I most recently earned my doctorate in 2019. So you'll have the syllabus attached, but I wanted to, in the email, but I wanted to try to answer the questions that I have gotten throughout the years. Um, I would say as a freshman parent, it is definitely a new experience and it is a jump and a change from middle school, which is good. How much homework should your student have? I would say the biggest is going to be reading in the textbook, not because there's a lot of reading. It's usually just once a unit, so like once every 3 weeks, but it is a new type of reading. It is much more analytical and comprehensive. They can take notes on these reading assignments, and we will have reading quizzes or reading check-ins, and they can use those notes to help answer the questions. We do retakes on these. Students get very anxious about this because it is a new thing, but our goal throughout the year is to have them get better at this and to improve their reading comprehension. So potentially many of them could take AP Government next year, which is a college, and get college credit, which is considered a college course. So that's what we're preparing them for. Do I accept late work? I do, with no penalty until the unit assessment. So once the unit assessment begins, I'm not going to accept it anymore. I'm open for students to prove later on how they have, how they have accomplished and their learning goals have been met, but it's kind of like after the unit assessment, we unfortunately have to move on. Now, understand when, like, for example, if something is due on Monday, I grade it, nothing's turned in from your student, I give a 0, and then it is turned in later. It will say late work on Canvas, and I will get to it after I've graded everything else that's been turned in on time. I suggest if your student gets into a bind, you've got, I mean, kids today are so busy doing so much, just ask me ahead of time and say, hey, can I turn this in a little bit later? I need some more time. And I say absolutely no problem. So they'll need to bring something to write with, a notebook, potentially headphones, and the book. Here's a image of our wonderful book, our textbook that can stay at home as a resource. So what we'll study, we'll start with like a review and explore up until about 1500, and then we end with the Middle East and Asia in modern times. We do so much, and we have so much fun with our freshman honor students. We do all sorts of things. We make Age of Revolution cake. We have discussion, lecture. They'll also read a novel that we provide fourth quarter on decolonization. So I'm hopeful by the end of the year, your student will talk about how much fun they had in world history. So if students need help, we have an academic networking. If you're new to the high school, they will have 50 minutes every Thursday to work on homework and or go and see and meet with a teacher during academic networking. And also during my office hours, we will do these retakes or redos if anyone needs help. So these are Thursdays, kind of a big day. So just some helpful information for parents. Just encourage your student to study and prepare for the final. We keep going, so we have continuous points first semester, and that equals 85% of their semester grade, and their semester grade is what goes on the transcript. The final semester final is worth 15%. This is also a weighted class because it is honors and there's more work, critical thinking that's expected. So an A is a 5.0, B 4.0, and so forth and so on. So encourage your student to understand major concepts, to hopefully see that connection throughout history and to connect, synthesize historical events. Talk to them about history if you can. And again, just to remind you too, they can retake or redo really any assignment or assessment in class. They just have to prove that they've done additional work or learning has been done to understand the concept. So that could be they can turn in some notes that they've taken. They can record a video where they practice what they've learned. And again, students will understand this process, but just so you would know, this is something that they can certainly do, and grades in the grade book and in SIS are not set in concrete. So helpful information. Usually 50 to 60% of freshmen that take world history honors move on to AP government, but even if your student does not, there are so many other AP opportunities that this class is hopefully getting them ready for as they advance through high school. So here's my email and extension. Feel free to reach out if you need anything, and I may see some of you at open house. There will not be like a formal presentation, but it really truly is an open house. So pop in, see the room, and introduce yourself. And I'm looking forward really to a great year. One thing I do have to say before I go, we get this question a lot. Do grades in SIS and Canvas, like, do they sync? Why don't they match? And that just depends on the progress of the teacher. It does not do it automatically. We are a full Canvas course, so everything we do is turned into Canvas, and I have to manually do that. Once we get a couple grades in, I sync it to SIS, and then really once I grade something, an assignment, I do sync it. So just know it's official in SIS, which is really confusing to parents, but by the end of the quarter and throughout the semester, everything should match.